Hi everyone! In today's video I'll show you how I made this miniature industrial style kitchen trolley in 1:12 scale. This is not a mini replica of a real trolley, but rather it's a mix of different pieces of furniture I saw online, which I've taken inspiration from. So as always, I started off by drawing a sketch with all the measurements. The first thing I make is the left side, which is different from the right side in that it has wheels. And I'm starting from this side on purpose, and later you'll understand why. For the two legs I use a 4x4mm wooden dowel. I cut out two pieces that are 6 cm long and sand the two ends, to make sure that they're nice and flat. For the central bit I use a lollipop stick, cut out a piece that is 2.5 cm in length, and then again sand. And I don't glue these three pieces together for now, because I first need to make the two little metal bars that form a kind of X that support the legs. For these bars I'll be using plastic coated metal wire, which I believe is called florist wire. I cut out two sections a bit longer than needed, lay them in place, again without gluing anything yet. With a pencil I mark out the points where the two bars touch the left leg, top and bottom. And I repeat the same operation for the right leg, making sure the dots are aligned. Then with my Dremel tool, I drill 4 tiny holes where I made the marks and then stain the wooden pieces. The metal bars will fit inside the holes, so that the structure is more sturdy and less subject to breaking. But first I need to paint the bars black, because the florist wire is dark green. One last step before assembling everything together, I glue around the bottom part of each leg a tiny strip of black paper. Then I glue all the pieces with super glue, and this is the final result. To make the towel holder, I use a bit of wire and 2 beads. First, I paint the beads with black acrylic paint and then glue them on the top part of each leg. I cut the piece of wire so that it's a bit longer than the distance between the 2 beads, then bend one side with my jewelry pliers, mark out the point where I have to bend the other side directly next to the bead, so that it is as precise as possible. Then cut out the excess wire. Check that everything fits before painting the wire with black acrylic. And then I glue the wire with super glue. Some paint came off, so I had to do some touch-ups. And now time for the wheels. I use again metal wire. With the help of a round pencil, I shape it into a ring in this way. And then I make a second one. I use this paper punch, which has a flower shape, to make the central part of the wheel. It's just normal paper and it serves more as a kind of decoration. It doesn't really offer any kind of support. The last element that make up the wheel is a bead. I paint everything black and then assemble the wheel like so. The wheels are ready, so I can now glue them at the bottom of each leg, which I also painted black before. To make sure that the wheel is positioned in the center, I use this coffee stirrer to support the wheel while the glue dries. I then cut out a tiny triangle from a sheet of black paper, bend the tip at a 90-degree angle, and glue it so that the tip fits inside the bead. I flip the whole thing over and add the 2 beads and the 2 tiny triangles still missing on the other side. Okay, now time to make the right side, the one without wheels. I measure the legs for this side next to the left side and not with a ruler, so I make sure that they are the exact same length. I measure 1 centimeter from one of the two ends, and with a blade I scrap off a bit of wood so that I end up with this kind of foot. The rest of the process to make the right side is the same as before, so I'm not showing you. And while assembling, I made sure that this beveled side here faces inwards. Okay, now that the two sides are ready, I can make the shells, which are made to imitate a metal frame with a bottom of wire mesh. The frame is made from coffee stirrers, which I first carefully sand to have a super smooth surface, since it has to look like metal. Then cut, paint and assemble the frame. To make the wire mesh, I used this type of cloth called tulle, which is very thin, as you can see in this close-up clip. So to make it thicker, I add some white glue to the black acrylic I used to paint it. The glue layer will make the cloth thicker, but it's very important that the glue doesn't clog up the holes of the net. So to get rid of these glue residues, I do this dabbing movement with my brush while holding the piece of cloth up in the air like so. And in this way, the small glue bubbles pop out and I end up with a nice clean surface. I let dry and this is the result. As you can see from this comparison, the cloth has become thicker. I cut out a rectangle of tulle so that it has the same length and width of the frame and then glue it in place. I proceed now with assembling the two sides and the two shells. I do this operation on my cutting board so I can use the grid to make sure that everything is straight and aligns nicely. Before gluing though, one more step. As you can see from this clip, the shelf is not centered with the side of the trolley, so I use a couple of spare sticks to support the shelf while gluing it. Then again, making sure that everything is straight on the grid lines. The last bit, the two pieces supporting the top. One of them has fake drawers, which are again two sections from a lollipop stick. Stain everything, then add the handles, which are made in the same way as the towel holders. The very last part is the top, made up of 4 slats measuring 8 centimeters in length. After gluing it, I flip the trolley over and add some extra white glue along the edges just to be on the safer side. And that's it, the trolley is finished. Thank you very much for watching this kind of long and complicated video until the very end. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe found some useful tips and tricks. See you next time. Bye!